of Takoradi Hospital, popularly known as the European Hospital. The project started in 2014 with support from David, and the UK Export Finance remains abandoned since 2017. This is just the first phase of a total project, with the second phase including an infectious disease center. But as you can see, the project is yet to be completed. So as to whether the second project will be added or not, we are yet to find out. Dr. Fred Akuetteh is the medical superintendent here at the Takoradi Hospital, though the hospital had received calls some 6 months ago after a declaration that all abandoned projects by the previous government was going to be completed. Dr. Akuetteh says the hospital is yet to see the contractor on site. In this pandemic, he believes the second phase of the project would have been very useful to the Western region.
The mitigating factor has always been accommodation. We are going to start life and then start it this way, saying that you have to find a facility for us to build them some advances in order to get a place to lay their head before they can deliver. So if the staff accommodation has been finished, it has gone a long way to enhance our health delivery in this facility. The second phase too, when you are moving out here, when you get to the roadside, you see that there's our casualty. That's the place we put up or earmark for the COVID-19. That will go a holding area and a treatment area. Today, I've seen that if the second phase had been carried on, there would have been a need to create that. We have a place already there. But unfortunately, the project never took off from the ground.
The 90-year-old Takoradi Government Hospital, over the years, has seen little infrastructure and logistical upgrading. The hospital also has an abandoned emergency unit construction project, which was expected to have been completed for the CAN 2008 football competition held at Old Takoradi Government Hospital. Over the years, has seen little infrastructure and logistical upgrading. The hospital also has an abandoned emergency unit construction project, which was expected to have been completed for the CAN 2008 football competition held in Ghana. I was ushered into the theater of the hospital to have a clear understanding of the necessity of completing the project.
This is our operating room, where most of our major cases are done here. And as you can see, the theater is not in the good standing order to work with, but then we are trying as much as we can to help with what we have. But then what we have so far is not the best. Our operating table is not in a good shape. They are all rusty, and then even the headrest is false. Also, we should have a movable operating lamp, which was up there, but it's no more there. So it makes it difficult for us, especially when we are
compiling the bedding capacities in Kumasi and in Accra. And he's here to share that information with us, after which we would engage with Ebo JB, who is also a friend of the show. He's right here with us in the studios of Love 99.5. Eugene, good morning to you.
David, good morning.
And Ebo, good morning to you too.
Good morning.
Trust you well.
I'm a bit tired, but
good to have you. Good to have you.
It would take David Akuetteh to put me up on Tuesday. As African as I am, Tuesdays are usually my Sabbath.
I see.
And I was born on a Tuesday too. So
myself, I was born on a Tuesday as well.
Well, so you shouldn't be dragging Tuesday ones, especially when it's you know, we traditionally
we'll talk about
we shouldn't be doing anything on Tuesday unless you are Udobnada.
But Eugene, what have you been able to gather as to the capacity of beds, in the various hospitals, key hospitals here in Kumasi or Ashanti region, and that of Accra? What have you been able to put together?
David, let me just give you a quick background. When I started multimedia on the 10th of November 2020, I remember my first show in this studio then was about abandoned facilities dotted across the region. And David, healthcare is very close to me, because before one way or the other, experience some of these things. And when it hits you, or when the reality comes home, that is when you appreciate the extent of death traps that we've set up as hospitals in this country. Now, David, we are talking about referrals and facilities. The reason why that colleague of yours, the relative, was not moved is that when the ambulance service moves from that hospital to Komfo-Anokye, they are now going to look for bed for that person. So if it's 8 hours, 6 hours, and no bed is found, the ambulance is stuck there. So the ambulance service, they are just like a conveyor belt. If the bed is there, they'll move the patient. But if the bed is not available, they can't move you. So people should sometimes also understand the ambulance service.
And now, when you come to just to quickly add, and so there are occasions, and in the case of this woman, the ambulance was not even prepared to move her to the facility to even wait. But at the time when we were able to get a place for her, then the ambulance moved.
Exactly. It come back to confirm what I was saying.
Yeah.
Now, when you check the 2020 census, which was done in 2021 by the Ghana Statistical Service, the region, when it comes to proximity to health centers, when you check their national demography and setup, communities are supposed to be in a proximity of about 5 kilometers to medical facilities. When you check all the regions, the 16, the one with the poorest proximity ratio is the Ashanti region. And that constituency is Central Farm Plains. It's on record. I've done it here before. Now, David, let's go to the data. Joe, if you present the picture for Accra, when you go to the Greater Accra region,
and we'll encourage our listeners to join us on Facebook right now, because oftentimes, when you have something that is visual, it enables you to appreciate the conversation much better than when you're just listening to it. So join us on Facebook on LUV 99.5 FM. And what we're doing now is we're projecting for you the bed capacity of major hospitals in Accra. And so join us there and read, take your own time to go through it and appreciate what it is we're talking about. And a while ago, I gave you the population of people in Accra and the population of people in Kumasi. The only difference is some 13,752. But take a look at the facilities they have available in Accra.
David, let me even start with the population. The Greater Accra region has 5,446,327. 237. The Ashanti region is 5,432,485. The difference is 13,750. And let's state for the record that it was 51 years Ashanti region led. That's the most populous region in Ghana since 1970. So the difference only happened in 2020 for several reasons that migration and all that. Now, when you go to Accra, we are not saying that these are the only hospitals in Accra. We are not saying that. We are also not saying that these are the only hospitals in Kumasi. All that we are saying is that these are the major hospitals. The key word is major, the operating word is major. Now, when you go to Accra, we have the Gais Hospital, which is located in the Medina constituency. It is 100-bed capacity. We have the University of Ghana Medical Hospital, which is 597 bed. And David, let me state on record, let me explain a bit here. This is the first phase of the hospital. It means that when we are done with the second phase and the various components of the hospital, the beds will increase. When you go to the police hospital, again on the University of Ghana Medical Center, it's equivalent. It's what remains in the bushes of Boadi as the K University Teaching Hospital. When it comes to the police hospital, it's also 100 bed. We don't have an equivalent of a police hospital in Kumasi or the northern sector of Ghana. We have the Trust Hospital, which is 86 bed. You have the 37 military hospital, again, that's equivalent of Ashanti region's one, remains in the bushes of Aferi. That is also 400 bed. We have the Regional Maritime Hospital in Tema, which is also 130 bed. You have the Greater Accra Regional Hospital. It's equivalent. It's at Tonswagogo. And Joe, after the presentation, I want you to project the pictures of Kumasi South at Tonswagogo, which is the Ashanti Regional Hospital, and compare it to the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, which is 420 bed. Now, when you come to Kolebu Teaching Hospital, which is the premier, teaching facility in this country, that is the last referral center for any Ghanaian, unless, they can't handle it and you're going abroad. That is 2,000 bed. Now, when you come to Lekma Hospital, we all saw the news when the road was bad, Dr. Kobo and all that. That is 100 bed. Now, when you come to the Tema General Hospital, that is 294 bed. And all these are in the Greater Accra region. When you sum all these beds, it's 4,227 for the Greater Accra region. 4,227. Now, let's go to the Ashanti region. David, when you come to the Ashanti region, we have barely 6 major hospitals in this region.
Okay, so for people to appreciate the conversation better, how many did we project on Facebook for the hospitals in Accra? How many were they?
So Joe, if you go back, the Accra, we projected 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. We projected 11 of them.
11
of them.
Or major hospitals?
Major hospitals, 11. And it sums to 4,227 beds.
And even with that, there are some we did not add because some are being renovated, they've been pulled down, and renovation works are ongoing on them. Like, is it the Gan East? And
yes.
the
General
Hospital.
Yeah.
Those ones are being worked on.
Yes.
So even when they are completed,
yes.
it will increase the Greater Accra
numbers. Exceedingly. And David, let's not forget that the equivalent we have in the budgets, for example, for Mena Kumewu, though the one is completed, it's a 120-bed facility. Now, when you come to the Ashanti region, Joe, when you come to the Ashanti region, these are major hospitals. Now, let me see. Someone is saying, just a government hospital. Accra also has Amasamai. We are not using that. So we are talking about major. The operating word is the major hospitals. When you go to Suntreso Hospital, it's a 130-bed facility. When you go to Tafu Government Hospital, and David, let's know, Tafu almost serves the entire Menshia population. Moshizungu and all that. It's 56 bed. When you come to KNUSC Hospital, it's 100 bed. When you go to the Ashanti Regional Hospital at Tunsuagogo, Kumasi South, it's 142 bed. Now, our biggest facility in the region, the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital, is 1,200 bed. Let me give you some statistics on Konfanoti. David, do you know that the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital do not just serve the Ashanti region? Let me tell you something. The Konfanoti Teaching Hospital is the only tertiary hospital in the northern sector. It takes direct referral, from 12 out of the 16 administrative regions in Ghana, meaning that the Konfanoti Teaching Hospital takes referrals in the Ashanti region, all the three Bunu regions, Bunu East Ahafu region, the Savannah region, the Northeast region, the Northern region, the Upper East region, and the Upper West region. And indeed, when you go to their own website and the website of the Ministry of Health, you notice that they even take referrals from our neighboring countries such as Burkina Faso and the Ivory Coast. Now, when you read the annual report of Konfanochi in 2018, the entire attendance of Konfanochi was 726,288. What that means in simple data extrapolation is that roughly Konfanochi every year has about 800,000 people visiting. When you do the math by 356 days in a year, it means that averagely they are recording about 1,900 to 2,000 attendance daily. And also taking direct referrals from 12 out of the 16 administrative regions. Now, Dave, when you add the regions I've listed, the population, we are summing up to about 15.2 million people. It tells you the chunk of pressure on Konfanochi, and it's 1,200 bed. Sadly, once Accra, the major hospitals are summing up to 4,227 beds. Now, David, look at the total for the Ashanti region. 1,628 with a 5.4 million population. This is utterly ridiculous. And David, yesterday we were on phone. I was telling you that I was beset with a lot of emotions when I was doing this research, because I could not fathom why a region of 5.4 million people and the major bears or the bears in major facilities in this region, Suntreso, Atonsuagogo, Kolebu, KNUSC Hospital, Tafo, do not even sum up to 2,000. So David, if you ask me, this is the verdict when it comes to the Ashanti region, the Greater Accra region, and also on Kolebu. And tomorrow, what we'll be doing is that we will sum up also the entire base that remains in the bushes of Kumewu, Fomena, Bekwai, Afare, and Sewua. And the good people of the region will be the best judge, whether we are being treated fairly.
And we would even add a KNUSC Teaching Hospital.
Exactly, which is 800 bed. and let me just give you a little fun fact. Do you know that facility was started in 2007? We are in 2021. It means almost 14 years.
And
14 solid years. David, you are about 14 years. By now, the person will be prepared to go to SHS.
You know what? There are some doctors who helped with some of the data we collected yesterday. And I would like to say thank you to them. But see, these doctors themselves are themselves livid at the situation. They are so angered by the situation and, of course, the conditions under which they are working. And they cannot fathom why a region with a population of roughly, let's say 5.5, has only, these are our key facilities, 1, 2, 3, 1, so 5. and it's what 1,628 bed in capacity.
Yes, David.
For 5.5 million people.
And David, we do not have. Let's say that we do not have a police hospital here. We do not have a medical research facility like the University of Ghana Medical Facility. We do not have a military hospital in the northern sector. Let me not just Ashanti region, in the northern sector, because we command the medical prowess of the northern sector. We do not have it.
Listen, we want you to send us voice notes. Send them in. Send it 055-1111-995. That's the WhatsApp line that you can send your voice notes to. Some of you sometimes send messages. Don't send us messages. We want to hear your voice. We want you to tell us how you feel. And so one of the questions we're asking you is, how do you feel when you hear about this no bed syndrome, so don't bring the patient in? How do you feel? And do you have any personal experience? Maybe yourself, maybe a relation of yours. Do you have any personal experience where, you were told that, well, we cannot take your patient, we cannot take you because the place is full. And yet, like, Eugene mentioned, we have so many projects. And when you use the word abandoned, they say, why do you use the word abandoned? So, uncompleted, stalled. The same thing. I keep saying, for example, that I spoke to the Deputy Defense Minister yesterday. And the last time he visited this region, I went to Afari. He assured all of us that the Afari project would be completed and will be functional before the end of 2021. Yesterday, when I called and we spoke, he said, we cannot meet the deadline. We will not be able to work this year. And he gave a few responses. Because we were going to look at those projects tomorrow. I'll hold on the response he gave and share that with our listeners tomorrow. But Charlie, the situation as it is now, it's sad. And people are dying. This poor little girl, 7 months old. If all these projects had been completed and there was space at Kath, they could have saved her life. This woman I'm talking about who died 3 weeks ago, where she was also told that there was no space. If we had taken off pressure from Kath and she had gotten a bed early at Kofanoti Teaching Hospital, she might be alive today. And yet we have leaders in this region, and you ask yourself, what do you make of the leaders we have? What do you make of them? I mean, when we have these projects available that can help the situation we find ourselves in. And at one point in time,
yeah.
You've heard Eugene. Give us, the facilities in Accra. And like I was saying, when we were doing this together yesterday, there were a few we did not add. If we had added them to the figure, it would have been more than 11. But even let's make do with the 11. But look at the 11 and look at the capacity, the bed capacity. Look at R5 and the bed capacity. He mentioned it, 4,227 for Accra. Ashanti Region, Kumasi, 1,628.
It'll be interesting to find out after Eugene has done his collation if the entire rest of the nation even matches what Greater Accra has. And this is why I keep telling you that we are building this one Accra project, and it's going to lead us into a brick wall. Ghana needs to look. Eugene mentioned, and I want to commend you, and I believe the media has to find people to specialize in fields. So like Eugene said, he's very passionate about the health sector and health. I'm hoping that you will specialize in that and look at issues and follow them to closure. We have a situation in this country where the media is just everywhere. So we're not targeted. We can't take one issue and run it through. So if we have specialization, if you say yours is finance, and you just go through the issues so that when the budget is out, something like that, you have people with in-depth knowledge to analyze it, and rather than just pulling the usual Kotokone hats to come and spew nonsense to it. Definitely, we have to do that, because then they know that they're not dealing with idiots. But if we're just going to play the, I was laughing when you were talking about the doctors being livid. Why are they livid? It's what we're living with. It's reality. And they say nothing about it. Nobody speaks up. Agron yenkani what you say nyede. Yenkani what you say. Unless it hits close to home, you don't feel the pinch. But it's reality. It happens on a daily basis. But because we are in this cycle where all we think about is bringing party A or party B in, we don't look at any other thing and hold any other person responsible. So if it's a small health facility, why do we definitely have to bring this little girl to Konfanoche? Why can we not contain this little girl in that small facility? The same thing we've done with our education system. So the smaller schools are abandoned or not taken care of, because now everybody wants to bring their wards into Kumasi, into Accra, into Takrat, because the smaller schools are not being taken care of.
But it's not about the smaller schools, because tomorrow when we're having a conversation, we'll be talking much more about the facilities in Accra, and there are specialties. They have their own specialties. Some of the facilities might not have they might not be up to the standard that is required. That is why we have the Konfanoche.
That's my point.
So
we shouldn't have that situation. Those are primary health care facilities. That should be the first. First aid. Okay, so if you're in an accident, the first aid that is applied is what's going to save you. If you don't have that first response reaction to you, you're dead. So we need to ensure that the primary care health facilities are equipped to stabilize before we even get to this point. But if all we do, because the smaller ones here cannot contain that, and that's what the problem is. Prioritization. We do not plan, we do not prioritize. If we understand that health is very, very key to everything you do. Your breathing crack and cease. But if you go to the small hospitals, they don't even have oxygen tanks or anything. But these should be first aid things that
basic things.
Basic. And we play too much. And everything we call a hospital. Even if it's a small clinic, it's a hospital. And they take people in. There's one in my neighborhood, people say, Udruwa near the drippers.
It's not funny.
It's not funny, but it's reality.
Because until you're hit with it, you're faced with it.
Exactly. Look, we need, Eugene just mentioned, and you just mentioned too, it's bad leadership. Doctors are not managers. You need managers to run these hospitals, these facilities, and they should run them as serious businesses. And that's why you would know that if you don't have this, you cannot run a hospital. We have a standards authority. They should ensure that all of these hospitals are ISO certified. Do we do that? No. So we only wait till it hits us and then we go complaining. And it's everywhere. It's not just health. It just so happened that, and I'm telling Mr. Jemfi, don't say you are not voting again. Voting has consequences. So I'm hoping that with this, you know that your vote really matters. And you should use it in a way that sends message. So don't say you're not voting again. I saw his note that he's not voting again. Yes,
and you're referring to the man whose daughter died.
Sika's dad.
Yes, Sika's dad, yes. That's a
it's very heartbreaking, and if you know that, if you lost someone close like that, it's like your whole world has come to an end. But you should not despair, because if we all say we're not voting...
But Ebo, the impact, the effects of the situation we have on hand, where we have these projects that are not being continued, they are not being completed, is resulting in the deaths of people like Sika, and like this woman. She was barely 61 or 62 or something like that.
The elections have consequences.
I understand.
So why is it that no? And this is what I keep saying. Why is it that we have to go begging? Why? Why? I was on a program with a gentleman yesterday, and he was citing Amewu's victory at Hohoi, that hopefully voters are becoming discerning, and they won't just vote because it's this party person or that party person. They want to see someone that's impactful. So hopefully, if we send a message, okay, if we send a strong, if and when we send strong messages to these people, they would know that we cannot be taken for granted.
Listen, join us, listeners, on Facebook as well. While you listen to us, make time and join us on Facebook and get to see some of the equipments that are even wasting away. And Joe, please play back this one for me again. And yesterday when I spoke to the Deputy Defense Minister, he told me that even at Aferi, there's been some, installation done in terms of equipment. And another MP I spoke to, anybody be say. So by the time we say we're even ready to go, they might not be working or work efficiently. And you ask yourself, we spent money. And what do you call it, Eugene? One of the calls I placed you on a conference, and you hear the minister say that, listen, even now the contractor is demanding much more money because dollar no assessor from the time that the contract was given to him. So we're supposed to cough out much more money to get a ferry completed.
David, if you remember, I was even angry that we have. Do you know that ferry facility has actually equipment that are in there?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. The defense minister told us.
And let me just give you a history. That money was secured in October 2008 at the twilight of President Kufuor's administration. The project was moved to Tamale. Then later it was brought to Sofulai. Then after several consultations, moved to Afari. David, that is 13 years now. We are almost 90 to 92% complete. There are equipment in there. They even said that there are office chairs in there. All these things are rotting away. Now the bone of contention is between a certain $30 million and $70 million. It even brings in the question: what feasibility studies are the state agencies and engineers doing for? You remember the CAT facility? The 40-year facility, it was pulled down because of some of these things. We will let the project rot. Then 5-10 years when we say that it lacks the structural integrity, we speak big English. Then we bring it down and you have to go and take another loan to come and service loans. This is our bane. When we take loans, instead of investing it into viable projects so that the project can accrue to the state some dividend for the government to, pay some of these loans, we will leave it there.
And the direct principles of state policy. Well, you cannot be doing politics with some of these things. The direct principles of state policy. It says that we should continue such projects. Continue it. And you would sit down, would allow these things to happen. But this time around, I want us to get solutions.
Because they can get away with it.
Hold on for me, Ebo. We've got some messages to share with our listeners. Paying taxes is an obligation to the state, and Consolidated Bank Ghana, is making payments stress-free. Simply dial *222# and pay your custom duties. Ghana Revenue Authority taxes, Environmental Protection Agency, Ghana Standards Authority, Food and Drugs Authority, and all levies for under the government services. Pay your taxes via the CBG's internet banking platform or dial *222# to make payments. You can also visit any of their branches nationwide to make payments. Dial *222# on all networks to pay all your taxes. CBG is ISO certified. Visit www.cbg.com.gh for more details. You can also call 0302 216 000. CBG will stand with you. And Leo Stanley Boyd has a few messages and he'll be sharing those messages with us as well. But we'd like to hear from you. Send us your messages, voice notes. Send us voice notes to 055-11-11995. 055-11-11995. Tell us what you feel hearing all this that we're sharing with you. Now, hello Ghana, Christmas planning has begun. It's begun. Charlie, thousands of people are already preparing to make this Christmas the biggest with help from Societe Generale, that is SG Ghana. The bank is giving all of its customers some amazing things. So they're giving you SG Ghana Visa card holders cash back when you spend 300 Ghana cedis or more anytime you shop. No gimmicks, no hidden tricks. Just make POS and or online payments with your SG Ghana Visa card and voila, you get cash back sharp. Move fast, look sharp, start shopping today. Now, if you are not a customer, sign up now and get a card. For more information, you can call 0302 214 314. The number again is 0302 214 314. Promotion ends on the 31st of January 2022. And remember, with Societe Generale Ghana, the future is you. Terms and conditions apply, though. Yes, sir.
Special announcement. The management of Ghana Water Company Limited wishes to inform its cherished customers and the public that there will be an interruption of water supply to Kumasi Metropolis and its environs tomorrow, 7th December 2021, due to routine works by engineers of Ghana Water Company Limited at Barekese Water Treatment Plant. Engineers are hopeful that water supply will be restored by Wednesday, 8th of December 2021. Management of Ghana Water Company Limited deeply regret the inconvenience and the interruption it will cause, and assures its cherished customers and the public of water supply immediately routine works are completed.
So we don't even know when we're not setting out exactly when the works will be done and water will be supplied to.
Said 7 and 8.
7 and 8. So when it's done automatically, because when you say work will be completed, we were taking their word for it, because there are occasions sometimes they will tell you something happened during the works and it delays.
It delayed, yeah.
So they should be mindful of that as well. I pray so. And at this point in time, we'd like to activate our phone lines on 03220-83596, and you can be a part of it. Give us a call now on 03220-83596. But Ebo, we have spoken. We've been given different timelines on different occasions for so long. This time around, I think that some of us are tired of talking and we want to see action. And that's why we're saying that, listen, at least out of the many that are uncompleted, we need to ensure that they complete it. In your estimation, what will it take? What will the solution? What will it take for us to be able to get these things done? For people not to die, and for people to get the attention in terms of healthcare they need?
I think we should be relentless in campaigning for all of these things. But as usual, we just talk for a few days and we let it go. But if we are insistent and push for it, it will happen. You mentioned we have leaders and all of that. We need to ensure. We need to just keep their feet to the fire, because if it's always going to be the usual talk shop, then I mean it won't happen. So we just need to make sure that we don't, like I said, if Eugene and his colleagues are going to make sure that we are, we need closure. We need to find something done. But if we just talk about it for a few days and we'll let it go, wait till another person dies, then it's just going to go back to the same.
Let's go on to the phone lines and speak to Chris, who's on the line. Chris, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, David. How are you, sir?
I am well, Chris.
Yes, I think it's a worrying situation, David. Thank you for your awakening. I believe that as we are talking, we are lamenting, we are complaining, somebody somewhere is actually listening, so they'll do something about it. David, when they say there's no bed, now, in simple terms, what I think is that there is no clinical space. It means that there are no accoutrements there on that side where the fellow can, maybe you need some drip, you need some oxygen and all that. That's what they say. But I believe that as a country that values, life, we should be able to work on our hospitals and all that. That's why I don't like this agenda 1-1-1-1. David, it's just going to waste our time. People are going to die. Let's use that money to complete these uncompleted projects and all that. I believe that these innocent people who are dying, their souls are lamenting against us. Their blood are always on our neck. That's why Ghana is not even doing well. Because people are dying like flies and fowls.
Well, thanks, Christophe. And if their blood has power, it should be targeted at the direct people, because they are the ones who are failing us. Leadership in the region, leadership in the country, they are failing us, and we need to be able to, do something about it. And that's why we say that, listen, join our campaign and let's ensure that these facilities are completed. Tomorrow you'll be hearing much more from us. But let's speak to Pearl. Pearl joins us on the phone lines. Pearl, good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome, Pearl.
Thank you. I know you're talking about is it hospitals?
Yeah, the situation in our region where we have only a few of them, 5 of them, key hospitals, and even the bedding capacity is only 1,628 as compared to others where they have 4,227. And we have abandoned projects, stalled projects, uncompleted projects that could help the situation, and yet people are dying.
Yes,
Oh, Pearl, sorry, Pearl, sorry, we lost you there. 03220-83596. Samuel.
David, good morning.
Samuel, good morning to you.
Thank God I have to speak to this issue today. By the way, how are you doing?
The Lord is my shepherd, sir. Thanks for asking.
Thank God. You see, David, if you do a count, this will be your 100th times of this kind of topic on your program. And you keep repeating yourself. To me, you see, the political leadership of NPP in Ashanti region is a total failure. They are total failures. Think about this man, Wuntumi. What is Wuntumi doing about projects in Ashanti region? It looks as if the man is only interested in amassing wealth.
Did you say Wuntumi? He's a party chairman. What can he do?
David, listen. If you're a party chairman, you are the one responsible for political victory over the region you govern. So if you have such an authority or responsibility, what prevents you from speaking to the person you elect? Do you know the value of 1.7 billion votes that this region gave to Nana Akufo-Addo in 2020 election? But can this same chairman who governs this vote impress on the president and say, Mr. President, the people that I gathered for you, these are their needs. Wuntumi is doing nothing. The regional minister, what is he doing?
How do the farmer Matias Pao?
Yes. If the regional minister cannot speak to the president about projects, uncompleted projects in the Ashanti region, talk about even the 10 UST hospital you mentioned. The president has gone there to promise in the of Atufo that he's going to see to the completion of that project. But what do we see? The man is not living up to his own promise. And then we are galvanizing for another chairman of NPP. Or David Akuetteh. I'm telling you, the political leadership of NPP in Ashanti region, they are weak. They only talk about votes that Ashanti region will give to NPP. They don't go to Crawford Market. What do you see there, David? This region, Ashanti region, takes care of, you mentioned how many? 16 regions. We take care of 12. And how many beds did you say we have?
1,628, and it's unfortunate, very unfortunate. Samuel, Charlie, thank you for joining us. Prempe is also on the line, but you can also call us on 03220-83596. Prempe, welcome, sir.
Good morning, David.
Good morning, Prempe.
Yeah, David, you said something about government is continuous.
Yes, the direct principles of state policy demands or requires that projects that are begun by previous governments ought to be continued by the new ones.
That's very, very true. That's why we shouldn't attribute any project that is done to a particular party. I think that's the main problem, because this Agenda 111 was not necessary. But because of the pressure last year on the government, they also have to come up with something instead of completing what has been started. We should let people know that it's Ghanaians who are paying for those contracts, not parties or government. So we should not attribute, as long as we keep attributing, oh, this one, this one, so what have you done? Then they will come and they will continue. If you remember the famous quote by Dr. Tonedo in 2009, that President Mills should abandon President Kufuor's project and start his own because he's going to be judged by what he started. And it's very true. We as the people should accept that we should stop attributing projects which is being paid by Ghanaians to individuals and parties. At the end of the day, it's not the people's money. It's not the president's money or the party's money. It's Ghanaians' taxpayers' money. So we should let them know that if you do something, keep doing it. We should not align it to be this one started it or this one did it. As long as we keep doing these things, we are going to face these challenges. Thank you, David.
Well, thank you, Prempe, for joining us. And Paolo is also on the line. But listen, join us. We'd like to hear from you, especially those of you who have been told before or have experienced this no-bed syndrome. How is it feeling like? What happened? Share with us your experiences. But Paolo joins us right now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, David. Thanks for the opportunity. With all due honesty, let's be fair to these politicians. In the health system, you are not really concerned just about the structure. You need personnel, you need logistics. For instance, we have like just one neurosurgeon in Ashanti region, And you can't blame the government on that. Maybe people are not so much interested in specializing into that specialty. So it's not just about building.
So are you saying, Paulo, that when we're planning and strategizing to build these facilities, we didn't have in mind the things that we would require, the personnel we would need and all those things? Do you know the number of nurses who are waiting for, financial clearance to get jobs to do?
I get you, David. But when you're talking about building big facilities, you need specialties. You don't just need general.
We are talking, Paulo, forgive me, but we're talking about the ones that have begun, that have been, abandoned, have not been completed. And that if we had intentions and we have planned very well and we have executed them, they will be saving lives. Paulo, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, I get you, David. So then meaning government should also pay attention to creating specialties, like maybe training people to become better. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yes, you want to have the specialized things done, but that is why they are managers of the economy. And that is why we expect them to do what they have to do.
Definitely, David.
Paulo, I'm grateful to you for joining us. 0322083596. And I'm waiting and eager to hear people share experiences with us, especially those who have been told before that, well, there's no bed available here, so we cannot have you. 0322083596. Send us voice notes to 05511119995. Those that's for voice notes. Send us messages. Let's hear from you. Stevie Wonder, time is fast spent, so just go straight to the point for me, Stevie Wonder. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning to your listeners. It is true. Abandoned project, something like hospital. Before God and man, the way government, especially either government going or government sitting, sometimes if you plan to do a project, and the problem is that any government who is going to award any contract, awarding to the partisans, they are awarding either to the party member. Anybody comes to certify their party members. So if let's say that if they're going to do a project like military hospital, when a military hospital, which was started by John Dramani Mahama, I suggest that during that time, it will be the party member who will be awarding the contract. And after the party left, they cannot just abrogate the contract. So
you do the thing. Okay, so Stephen, thank you very much. You do the whole thing not in the name of a party. You do it in the name of the country. Contract you sign on behalf of the country, and so it has to continue. It's not a party. Yes, you were in government at the time, so all well and good, but you are doing it for the good of the country. And so you don't come and say party win a party win a sign contract. You did it on behalf of the country, okay, not on behalf of the party. Thanks, Stevie Wonder. Do we have Alex on the line?
Yeah.
Alex, good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning. You see, Ghana, you see that politicians, when they are in opposition, they know all the solutions to our problems. It's not as if they are joking. All that they are saying in opposition, that is the gospel truth. And those are the things that can lead us out of our poverty. But once they ascend to power, all that knowledge, all that resources in terms of education that they have, is relegated to the background. And now it's left with only one thing: party and personal interest. If the people who are leading us want to solve our problems for us, they can really solve it for us. Who said they don't know the solution to some of these things that is happening in the country? They know, but their personal interest will not allow them to solve the problems for us. That is why we are having all these problems in the health sector, in the education sector, and across all the sectors.
So we vote them into power. Alex, thanks very much for joining us. We vote them into power, and this is what they give to us. So at what point in time will we, as citizens or voters, also realize that, listen, we're not getting what we require, and also find other alternatives? Alberta, good morning.
Good morning, David.
Welcome, Alberta.
Yes, thank you. Good morning to your listeners. What I want to say is that as citizens, we are not being honest to ourselves. We are not being honest in the sense that we voted these politicians into power. We voted for them. And so if they are not doing what they are expected to do or what is expected of them, we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. But this time round, our politics have become a politics of, tribe. If the person is not doing right, let's let the person understand that he's not doing right. I quite remember when this government brought this ambulance for all the constituencies. We hailed it as though the hospitals are not even necessary. Somebody has started something. Why don't we ask the government to complete those hospitals? But we are rather hailing the ambulances that were released. Now we have this problem that ambulances are not even responding to calls because when they go, there are no beds. So it's about time that we as citizens bring our leaders to book. We have to call them to answer to us. So if you are voted into power and you're not doing the right thing or what we expect you to do, we vote you out. Unfortunately, we are not ready to do that. You see, we are not ready to talk about it. So I think all of us must be up and doing and hold the government, the various governments, anybody who comes to power. Once you are voted into power, you need to do what we, the citizens, voted for you. But if you don't, we vote you out. We don't have to shield anybody because nobody is above the law. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Alberta. And indeed, I'll say that the ambulances were necessary. We needed them. But it doesn't mean that the other projects should not continue. We needed them. We have them. Let's continue and do the right things. Now, if they themselves were not ready, they will not be telling us, for example, that, oh, we'll finish this one at this time and finish that one at the other time. They know the things to do, and yet they're disappointing Ghanaians. Joseph, good morning.
Good morning, Dave.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir. Thank you, sir. Well, we have the man, we have the man, we have the man. We have the man. I've worked at the Bank of Ghana before. I have all the expertise. I have all the knowledge in this world. We have the man. So where are the so-called men? Where are the men that Dr. Baumia promised Ghanaians that they have? They are capable of doing everything. And so if we have the man, and this hospital were being constructed by a certain president, as you yourself you said, that government or governance is continuous. That is what Ghanaians are lacking. And so, Dave, I think you people should hammer on that so that the citizenry will understand that government is a continuous process. So that whatever a president will do, we will give the credit to who it deserves. Until we do that, it will always be like that.
I hear you. Thanks, Joseph. Do we have Pearl on the line?
Yes. Good morning again.
Good morning, Pearl. Good to have you back.
Thank you. I was saying that, it seems like someone said we shouldn't call ourselves the ordinary Ghanaians. Yeah, the person was right. We are the king-making Ghanaians. If we as king-making Ghanaians don't team up, and then we want to be divided, there is MPP, there is NDC, it will always be like this. When there's a project, they won't do it because they know one crazy person, who belongs to the same party as them is going to defend them somehow. So it's about time that we together, as the king-making Ghanaians, get up and then, team up and fight them. Fight them in quote, so that whatever promises they made.
I don't know why your line keeps dropping, Pearl. Sorry about that, but at least you've made your point. Let's speak to one more person on the phone lines, and then we shall share voice notes with you. Samuel is on the line. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Dave. How are you doing?
I'm well, Samuel.
Yeah, what I'm pleading with all Ghanaians, including the media, is that we should be very principled. In fact, I was going to play you a recording I had on Joy News, Evans Mensa. Tonight, we are interrogating the issues. MPP has not built one polytechnic from the scratch, and it was a good news. But there was this research that President Akuetteh took up about 50% of all facilities in the 10 polytechnics that we had in Ghana. Yet, the media picked it and said NGT has not built even one. And it was big campaign. So look at the hospital. Some of them, what the present government needs to complete it is more than what the previous government who started it invested. So you get someone like Sami Janti come on air or Pachu Futi come on air and say, and listen, we started this, we built this, and then the media will push it. So if the media will say, no, this is government money that you use, so we are not going to say that you built it, so we are giving you credit, and for that matter, the other party did nothing. Then we go back and be discussing this.
I hear you,
Samuel. The government also want to do something that one day you, the media, when you are putting out there, the people will know that they started something from it.
Samuel, do you recall? Was it the N1 highway in Accra when Kufuor began it and Atamils completed it, and then when he invited him? Isn't that the way to go?
Yes, but what I'm saying is let the media stop that publication that NDB has not built any polytechnic. Meanwhile, I will tell you information. Kufuor built like 50% of all the infrastructure.
I will not argue with you on that. Samuel, thanks anyway for want of time. Forgive me. I hear you. But listen, if you come in and you continue projects begun by your predecessor and you complete it, people still say that you've done a good job. And that is what we need as a people in this country. Let's share with our listeners voice notes that have come through right now. Let's play back some of the voice notes.
Dave, please, good morning. This is Ania Joseph Afam speaking. And you see, this bird syndrome issue, I don't know what is wrong with, sorry to say, our president, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and especially our Ghanaian politician. I don't understand them. What is the problem? What is really going on? Look at the massive infrastructure developmental project being led by John Dramani Mahama. A lot of hospitals are being constructed in Ghana. A lot of hospitals were being constructed in Ashanti region, which you yourself you know it. But why is it that Nana Addo doesn't want to complete them? Because of just to score a cheap political point, and that is what's hurting this nation. So we the youth have.
Dave, good morning. I'm Nami Kibrooks from Edum. Yeah. I tell you, these politicians, these leaders, they are not Ghanaians. They don't understand our tears. They don't know. They don't even live here. They are somewhere abroad. They don't face these kind of problems. When they are sick, they'll fly out and go and look for treatment. But that's our money. You understand? So people like this, so how can they understand our tears?
So she's saying that our leaders, let's hear another voice note.
Good morning, Mr. David. We will continue to talk this way, but they will not change because that is their nature. Our leaders, when you talk, they will try to come after you. David, I just pray that God will continue to protect you as you do the good work. This country needs a socially and well-organized leaders who can take us to where we want to go. For this particular...
Dave, good morning. I'm Nami Kibrooks from Edum. Yeah.
Good morning, Dave. It is sad, but anytime I listen to radio, especially on your channel, I don't just feel sad, I also feel agitated and irritated. We are people that from the least to the biggest, we speak big, we budget big, we plan big, we spend big, but we always do or achieve little. grant has been. Good morning, Mr. David. The reason why our leaders are taking us underground is we have nobody to report them to. And if I say something like I'm abusing them, they will report me to the police station to come and arrest me. But we have nobody to report them to. ECOWAS, the leader of ECOWAS, is our president. Even if is he not the one, if we report them to ECOWAS, can they do something about it? They only take us on granted because we have nobody to report them and they hold them accountable.
Well, let's try and squeeze in one more voice note and then we'll go onto Facebook and read your messages as well. So just one more voice note. And what is the person saying?
Hello, David. Good morning. If I show why you know panelists not all about say I then share hospitals no more I mean the small hospitals now you want where you vicinity makes a pattern na me I do me hospitals but I'll call them hospitals because referring to like case they are hospitals the same now one thing about say let's say regulate me because one time I remember me asthmatic na me asthma ba na me call one of the smaller my friends say when me need say hospitals and I me call back na mommy dry but the draw you may still na say because asthma so the ma draw the next 30 minutes you should be relieved until na me told am say no ma me call confirm na me sorry na me call confirm which was a kind of poly ho na dear class me call ya that the na doctor na doctor oh share me to I no see no na no ti me obi a me no be nti me penro a de wait nti me kaka no ni nya no se no e fa me nko ward no mo start so mo di so di me so later na doctor na catch me say no de ma men too much for me na ni kwan so de say no ni ma me once a o ma me nebulizer na say ahwe ma na di ni kwan say nko de do ni kam nti say anya from system a ka menya problem one can de menya de but o ka say menya problem.
So the question I would ask right now is that so somebody gave you an overdose or too much of a medication, and another doctor at Confanoche realizes it. What action was taken? What did you do about it? So the person doesn't repeat the same thing another time. Share some messages with us from Facebook, Leo.
This is from Richard Donko. He said, Ashanti region chose free SHS over hospitals. Let's enjoy. But in fact, this government and the president are heartless. From Baba Tanko, he says, God bless you for your wonderful job. God bless you too, Baba Tanko. And Kodwa Sampa is always listening to us from his furniture works. This is from Patrick Mensah. He says, this government never think of us in general. Only few people in government, family and friends, and how to get aircraft and bath in the air. Keta people are dying, they don't care. Hospital don't get beds, they are moving, promising. Youth don't have jobs, they said they want aircraft. God is watching. Good morning. And this is from Lillian. He says, so where did we go wrong as a nation to have such insensitive leaders like this?
Very quickly, you mentioned a while ago, that it should not always necessarily be MPP, NDC. Do we have a choice? Do we have any options?
Well, we do, but we conveniently overlook that, and we have allowed the system to be a duopoly to form, and it's very, very dangerous. We always refer to the Americas and say, oh, they have a two-party system, the UKs and the stuff, but if you look closely, the style of governance is very different. In the UK, it's purely parliamentary, right? Of course, they have a monarchy, but it's purely parliamentary. So every government business happens in parliament. Here we have, every time we do this, we take, we say we've taken the American style and the British style, and we're still conflicting the whole process. There's a man here, he's written a book. What's his name? Richard Jacobs. He's a historian, American historian, professor. The Democracy of Dollars. This is a book chronicling how America almost came to a coup d'etat. you realize that Donald Trump almost usurped power from the people. And it's because they've allowed this two-party system to build such bases that when my party is about to lose, I'll do everything to make sure they stay in power. And that's why in Ghana, every time we go for elections, there's a dispute. And we call it free and fair. Because we're building these bases where we'll get to a point. Okay, we'll find. I'm just hoping that doesn't happen like it almost did in America. One party would say the verdict was stolen and we will not leave power, and nobody can be able to do it. What you need to do, like Mr. Jemfi that lost Sika, is when you go to the polls, there are always options. So don't just go to the polls thinking that, oh, there's only going to be this party or that party. Okay, people go to represent. So, like, let's say the parliamentary system, they go to represent the constituency, not the party. So if you want to send messages, look, there are going to be times that the votes are going to switch or sway, and it would tell or awaken them that things are changing, and hopefully they have a change of mind.
Ebo JB, thank you very much, sir, for your time.
Thank you.
And I pray that time will come soon. But for these abandoned projects, at least 2 don't make your mind before the middle of next year. We'll do whatever it takes, everything that it takes.